how to find peace of mind within yourself. How to, when you ask yourself, how can I live with myself? How can you live with yourself? I want to ask you today to look within as you listen to my message about finding peace within. What to do when you hate your life and things are going against you. I want to add a little bit about peace and harmony, a confused mind. Why is it this happening to me? We seem to say often when things are going against us, don't we? I'm going to share a few principles from the Course in Miracles today. Not to worry. Let's go on and talk about how to find peace within yourself. A personal enlightenment true story. Hey everyone, James Nussbaumer, and thanks for joining me today in this episode. And I want to go on deeper about how to find peace within yourself, even when you're up always seeking and asking for things like, what to do when you hate your life, or you're asking, why is this happening to me? Or can I feed a confused mind and get it to be more positive? It really isn't that easy when the jail cell is only 6 feet wide with a concrete bench about a foot from the floor that held a torn, thin foam mattress, or what was left of one. If this were you, you'd find that the steel bars and the concrete that surrounded me securely didn't at all help me to answer how to find peace within yourself. Besides, being dressed in the rags called an orange jumpsuit, I wasn't going anywhere. The Course in Miracles teaches that perception always involves some misuse of mind because it brings the mind into areas of uncertainty. There was a small window that was positioned near the top of the high block walls within inches of the ceiling. That window reminded me of the window in the fruit cellar of the basement at my grandparents' old house up the road from where we lived. This perhaps might this perhaps you might say would give a glimpse how to find peace within yourself. I found that by lying on the floor and positioning my body against the wall of that jail cell, I could look up and through the window to see the sky. And I was finding peace within. My hopes were truly to try anything, however slightly, to strap on to some sort of sanity of peace and harmony. But my anxiety and depression, along with a confused mind, told me that there was nothing to see out that window anyway, and the numbness I felt only added to the confused void that held me about, so to speak. Why is this happening to me? What to do when you hate your life? Let's go there. The jail cell was cold, of course, and darkness was the view through the window, just as my depressed thinking said it would be. It was like how to find peace within yourself, but I couldn't find it. But then I did notice a hint of the glow from a nearby moon shining through that window. The noise around me in the corridor coming of the jail system, the noise around me up and down along the corridor of double bunk jail cells was horrendous, louder than a crowd in a sold out arena, is how I would explain it. But my numbness almost managed to block it out as I half-heartedly thought of ways to end my life. Well, a reoccurring set of thoughts had kind of entered me, and kind of made me feel a little more comfortable, was what to do when you hate with your life, or how can I live with myself? And I seemed to kind of find an answer, but then suddenly I became aware of what an odd thought that really was. Am I seeking for and think I'm finding peace within by trying to be two of me? Is there two of me, or is there one of me? I'm trying to decide. So am I peaceful or am I not peaceful? Is there two of me having two separate thought systems? That was the confusion. My supper of beans and rice on a plastic tray was slid into the cell through a slot in the bars at floor level, a food slot they called it, and I left it untouched on the floor until lights were out, like you'd perhaps think, and how to find peace within yourself. Well, but when I awoke from a brief nap to clammy darkness, the guard came by to nab the food tray. Well, at least I thought he did. Bear with me. Now let's move into, can we begin finding peace within? The moon had changed positions and was now squarely framed in the tiny window, shining right on me, which my eyes grabbed onto in peace and harmony. I now had a companion that wonderful moonlit evening, and it reminded me in the window. It reminded me of things of my past, and it remained in the window for what would seem to be a few hours. Even after it moved its position, the moon, that is, its glow was still apparent, with a backsplash of stars filling the sky. And I remember the calming, peaceful sight as I lay on the floor against the wall to gain the only available view. And maybe I'd relay this one day to people who were thinking, and now I'm relaying it to you. People that were thinking how to find peace within yourself. Those kind of people I want this message to hit home with. Well, with my body still numb, that sky seemed very friendly to me. My mind would vacillate between thinking and no thinking, and the I and the self, the two sides of me. My no thinking was merely a fixed gaze through the window and into the sky, and nothing more but the thoughts of, why is this happening to me? The thinking part of me continued its questions on how to live with myself, or mostly like how to find peace within yourself. This side of me was getting weaker and more frightened as I began to recognize that there was nowhere as a body that I could go or hide to begin finding peace within. And the more I remained on the no thinking side, the less fear I felt, and the more peace and harmony that entered my psyche. Well, then I remembered a thought, or a willingness, perhaps we can say, which I had to say, to never feel the need, to hide anything. I said to myself, we just got to let go of whatever held me to the habitual thinking that had consumed me for so long. So now let's move into the more about peace and harmony. Well, I began having more thoughts telling me that although I was heading off to prison now, I was in the county jail at this time, there was nothing more to be afraid of. But still, there was sustaining fears and self-pity I could not get a grip on, such as, why is this happening to me? Again, I would think. And what is going to become of me? Well, as I continued to focus through the window, an additional brand new thought came clearly through my mind. Nothing you see from this jail cell, it said to me, means anything. It was a thought like, for sure, but I heard it as though it was talking to me. More of a thought, but I would say a voice. Or maybe I can say it was thinking for me. And this one thought persistently hounded me through my numbness. By the way, keep in mind as you're listening to me too, that down in the description area down below is a detailed article, a link to a detailed article at my SAFE website I'd written. I hope that you'll access that. It's about why I urge to learn mindfulness meditation, and more on that at the article. But now let's move on and say, my eyes opened widely as I suddenly realized the window was gone. It was never there. I had simply vanished. The window had simply vanished along with the cell, the jail cell, the bars, the concrete floor, the walls, the bench. The entire building was gone. Excuse me. And there was nothing. Only me sitting up in like an Indian style position with my arms crossed over my legs. I was staring up at the moon and stars, and even noticed how calm I was and yet amazed. I thought, is this how to find peace within yourself? So let's move on and talk about how can you live with yourself. Well, next, the darkness of the sky faded quickly away. Yes, I mean no sky, but oddly, all its glory remained and had emerged together, and I felt held by it. The stars had gathered into dense groups and attached themselves to the outer edges of the moon. Now the moon was centered in an endless array of sparkling clusters, so to speak, lighting up my view of the magnificent sight that welcomed me for more peace and serenity. I looked down at my feet and legs, and they were gone. I raised my hands and arms and they were gone. Since I had no hands to feel my face, I was convinced it no longer existed either. My entire body was gone, but I was still there. I existed, feeling a sensation all around me that was most peaceful, the most peaceful I've ever experienced, I could say. It was like anyone can see how to find peace within yourself if they experienced what I did there. I thought to myself, how can I feel and see this beauty and delight without having eyes to see with? Remember, my body was gone. Why is this happening to me? Let's answer that. Another sensation or thought entered my mind that said, it's okay, relax, you are already being taken care of. Plans are being made, things and events are being arranged at this moment, getting things ready for you. You are going to do well. Next came a thought that told me all my errors were not real, so don't worry about them. That at that very moment, from many places around the world, forgiveness was shining on me. It also said to let go. The emptiness and numbness were gone, along with everything else that had faded away. I heard and read about people who have said that they hear voices talking to them. For example, people who say, God spoke to me. However, with me here, it was not the case. This was pure thought rather than a voice. Sure, pure of thought, so pure of a thought that there was no doubting or questioning it whatsoever. So real that it is unexplainable, but is certain. A thought with no thinking. I said to myself, so this is what everything is all about. I am real regardless of my body. I went on to consider that this is what the Bible really means when it says there is no death, and why Jesus demonstrated there really is no death. I had always felt deep down that I was fooling myself or allowing the world to fool me. Now let's move into letting go of the confused mind. Now I was able to see I had deprived myself of allowing my mind to buy into this fire and hell concept all along, claimed by the world and the so-called devil below. There is no such thing, folks. Friends, there are no such thing as hell and the devil. A Course in Miracles states that consciousness, the level of perception, was the first split introduced into the mind after the separation, making the mind a perceiver rather than a creator. Next, all of a sudden, the moon and the stars grew so bright with the light that my eyes blurred, watery with tears. As I raised my hands to wipe them, I realized everything had reappeared as if nothing had ever happened. I was sitting there cross-legged with all my body parts and inside the jail cell. What I experienced was not a dream, but was real. However, so brief, maybe an instant. So time seemed to have suspended itself, so it didn't matter how long the experience lasted. I looked up to see the tray of food was still there. The guard had not yet picked it up like I had thought he did. You, as well as others, have had similar type experiences about how to find peace within yourself, perhaps only to quickly dismiss them as a daydream of your imagination running away with itself that we're taught to think. Who knows how real your own experiences might have been? Or let me say, one thing for sure that we do know, although, is that the world is always at our side, vigilant and ready to quickly dismiss this kind of thing as fantasy or delusion. I wish the best for you. I hope all the success in the world to you in life, in love, and until next time, God bless.